Hello, my dear students. Assalamu alaikum. Hope you are doing good. Today, we will discuss about a completely new topic, that is the cardiovascular system. I will mainly discuss about the general anatomy part of the cardiovascular system. And as you know that the cardiovascular system is one of the most important topic of our syllabus, so I will discuss this topic in details. As I have already finished the heart, so I will mainly focus on the vascular system in this slide. Today will be the first part of the cardiovascular system, and let's start. Hello my dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Dr. Rizwan here. Today our topic of discussion is cardiovascular system. So let's start. First of all, we need to know what is cardiovascular system. It is the transport system that carries blood and lymph to and from the tissue of the body. So, the cardiovascular, this word means it should include cardio and the vascular system. So, in the parts, the cardio means heart and the vascular system. Again, the vascular system will have blood vascular system and the lymph vascular system. Now, this is the total picture of the cardiovascular system. We all know that from the heart, the large arteries are coming. The large arteries will be distributed and branched to form the medium-sized artery. The medium-sized artery will again divide it to form the small arteries. From the small arteries, the arteriolar capillary will come. And then these small arterioles or arteriole capillary will enter into the tissue and it will give the oxygenated blood at the capillary bed. After the exchange of the oxygen and receiving the carbon dioxide from the tissue, that carbon dioxide containing blood will return back through the post-capillary venules. Then from the post-capillary venules, it will enter into the small veins. From the small veins, it will back to the medium-sized vein, and from the medium-sized vein, it will go into the larger veins. From the larger vein, it will go again in the heart. This is the systemic circulation as we can understand. But most noticeable thing is that at the tissue level, there are also lymph capillaries. The lymph capillaries are taking the tissue fluid or the lymph from the tissue level. That lymph will flow into the lymph vessels. From the lymph vessels, it will enter into the lymphatic duct. And through the lymphatic duct, that lymph will enter into the medium-sized veins. So, ultimately, the lymph is also going into the vein or the blood vascular system. That's why the lymph vascular system is also included into the cardiovascular system. Now, this is the total picture of the cardiovascular system. As we know that heart is connected not only with the systemic circulation but also from the pulmonary circulation. And wherever that is, these two circulation are connected by the arteries and the veins, and which are connected with each other by the beds of capillaries. This is the pulmonary capillary network and this is the systemic capillary network. At both network there are also lymphatic capillaries as we can see over here. Ultimately, these lymphs are going into the venous system as we can see over here. Before entering into the venous system, the lymph should be filtered by the lymph node. So we can see from the lymph capillaries, the lymph is going into the lymph node to get filtered, and ultimately through the lymph vessels it is entering into the venous system. In this picture, the same thing we can see. Now, circulatory system concerned with circulation of blood, lymph, cerebrospinal fluid, synovial fluid that is present in the synovial joints, then the fluid within the coelomic space like pericardial fluid that is present in between the serous pericardiums like visceral and the parietal pericardium, then pleural fluid and also peritoneal fluid. There is also perilymph and the endolymph which are present in the internal ear, and aqueous humor, which is present in eye. Now, what are the functions of the cardiovascular system? It is important for the exchange of oxygen, carbon dioxide, water, nutrients, vitamins and minerals, and also metabolic waste product or the metabolic product, inorganic substance, hormones, antibodies and defensive cells like lymphocytes and macrophages. Then excretion of the waste product from the body, regulation to maintain the static condition of our body, that is also known as homeostasis. Then it is very much important to maintain the body temperature by the thermoregulations. Now we should talk about the blood vessels. Blood is carried in a closed system of vessels that begins and ends at heart. There are mainly three types of vessels: arteries, veins and capillaries. We all know that arteries carry blood away from the heart, where the veins carry blood towards the heart. Capillaries present at tissue level and directly serve the cellular demands. Now, what is the structure of blood vessels? Arteries and veins are composed of three layers, from inside to outside: the tunica interna, also known as tunica intima, then tunica media, and lastly the most outside tunica externa, also known as tunica adventitia. In the lumen, the central blood is present, that is called the luminal blood. Capillaries are composed of endothelium with sparse basal lamina. Here is a picture. We can see at the left side there are artery and the right side vein, and they are connected by the capillary. We can see the structure. In both arteries and veins, intima, media and the externa. But interestingly, there are some elastic laminas. For example, from outside to inside, tunica externa, then external elastic lamina, then the tunica media, which is composed of the smooth muscles as we can see, and then internal elastic lamina again, and then a thin layer of the connective tissue known as subendothelial connective tissue layer, then the lining epithelium, that is the endothelium with the basement membrane. The same thing is present in the vein, but noticeably there is a valve present, that is in the vein. Within the vein we can see the valves. In case of capillary, there are no like tunica intima, media or external kind of things, but it is having only the basement membrane and the endothelial cells. Now, arterial system. Arteries are the thick-walled tubes which convey blood from heart to the capillaries. They are pulsatile, deep in position, flow of blood is rapid, blood pressure is high, color is reddish in living condition, and in cadaver we can see the arteries as whitish in color. Valve usually absent. Now this is the most important thing, that how can you classify arterial system? The arteries are classified anatomically into large artery, medium-sized artery and the small arteries. On the other hand, histologically the arteries are elastic artery and the muscular artery. Functionally, it is conducting artery, distributing artery and the resistance artery. Now, large artery. Large arteries are anatomically large in size and they are having more caliber. At the same time, their wall is very thick. Histologically, large arteries are elastic artery because in their tunica media they are having more elastic fibers than the muscle tissues. Functionally, large arteries are conducting artery. They just pass the blood forwards. They are doing the conduction of the blood only. Sometimes they act as a reservoir of blood because of their larger lumen. They can reserve blood by the expansion of the arterial wall. Examples are aorta, like ascending aorta, arch of aorta, descending aortas. Then common iliac arteries, pulmonary trunk, common carotid arteries, and the brachiocephalic trunk. Now, muscular artery. Anatomically, muscular arteries are medium in size. Histologically, they are called muscular artery because their tunica media has more muscle fibers than the elastic fibers. Functionally, they are distributing artery. The muscle of the muscular artery are circularly arranged smooth muscles which can respond to the nerve stimuli and regulate the size of the lumen. Elastic recoil of these arteries maintain the diastolic blood pressure. Examples are most of the arteries that we have studied earlier are muscular arteries like the coronary arteries, external internal carotid arteries, even the arteries of the limbs like the brachial artery, radial artery, ulnar artery, in case of lower limb, femoral artery, popliteal artery, tibial artery. All the arteries are, most of the arteries are muscular arteries. Now, again we have to know that what is the exact picture of muscular arteries. If you cut through the muscular artery and do a transverse section, then from inside to outside we will find tunica intima, that is lined by the endothelium, and you know that endothelium is simple squamous epithelium. Then this endothelium is supported by subendothelial connective tissue, then internal elastic lamina, then tunica media, that is composed of mainly smooth muscles. Here the alternate layer of smooth muscles are present along with the elastic fibers. But as they are muscular artery, the muscle fibers are more than the elastic fibers. Then external elastic lamina, and lastly most outside tunica adventitia, which is mainly composed of elastic fiber and some collagen fibers. Here is a picture. As we can see that this is the wall of a muscular artery, tunica adventitia or externa, as we can see. Then thin layer of external elastic lamina, then the smooth muscle layer, that is the tunica media, then again this purple color internal elastic lamina, then this is the subendothelial connective tissue layer with so many fibers, and lastly the endothelium, the simple squamous epithelium. Now let's see what is the differences between the elastic or large artery and the medium sized artery or muscular artery. First of all, if you go into the tunica media, we will see that a series of 40 to 60 concentrically arranged elastic membrane are present in the large artery. Between them, fibroblast, ground substance, fine elastic fibers and smooth muscle cells are present. But most importantly, a number of elastic membranes are present. On the other hand, in case of muscular artery, the series of up to 40 layers of smooth muscle present over here. Between them, small amount of connective tissue fiber or the elastic fibers are present, and some of the fibroblasts are also present. So obviously in the large artery there is more elastic fiber, but in the muscular artery or the medium sized artery there are more smooth muscles. Now what about the tunica intima? In the tunica intima, the large artery is thicker and the internal elastic lamina is not distinct from the media. On the other hand, the tunica intima is not that much thick in the medium sized artery, but internal elastic lamina is prominent. So tunica intima is thicker in large artery and thin in medium sized artery. Now what about the tunica adventitia? In large arteries it is relatively thin, but in case of medium sized artery it is relatively thick. The external elastic lamina is not distinct in the large artery, but external elastic lamina is prominent in medium sized artery. So from this slide we can easily understand that the internal and the external both elastic laminas are very much prominent in the medium sized artery or the muscular artery, but in the larger arteries they are not that much prominent because they are having, in the larger arteries they are not that much present because the larger artery is having more and more elastic fiber in their tunica media, so they do not need extra internal and the external elastic lamina to support the tunica media. Now small arteries. Under a small artery there will be arterioles. Anatomically they are small in size Histologically, they are also muscular artery. This muscle layer is thick that provides peripheral resistance. Functionally, they are resistance vessels because they are providing the peripheral resistance. They offer peripheral resistance by thereby regulate the systolic blood pressure. From the smaller arteries, terminal arterioles will come. These arterioles progressively divide and their coat become thinner and form terminal arterioles. Terminal arterioles do not have internal elastic lamina. That is important things to remember. Then from the terminal arterioles, meta-arterioles will come. These are the division of the terminal arterioles just before the capillary bed. They have pre-capillary sphincter formed by the smooth muscles. So this is very important for the viva that pre-capillary sphincter is present at the meta-arteriolar level. And meta-arteriole before entering into the capillary will be continuous as arteriolar end of capillary. That means just after meta-arterioles before entering into the capillary, it will be named as arteriolar end of capillary. So we will discuss the end artery on the next topic. Till then, please try to read out the things that we have discussed today and try to remember them. If you have any questions or queries regarding today's presentation, let me know that. Thank you very much for your patience hearing. Stay safe. Take care.